Pause. Kill that motherfucker. One of us got. Okay.
Yeah. One more time. Good. Dead.
I got it.
You did.
Awesome. All right, I didn't actually pause it. That was my fault. Picking back up.
Okay. At least we know.
At least we know.
Hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of Project Airwaves. This is Lynn.
This is D.
How's everybody doing today?
Tired.
You look tired. It's been quite the busy week for both of us.
Man.
I feel like every day's been quite the challenge.
A struggle.
Yeah, and
The past 2 weeks have been easy for me as far as work goes.
Mm-hmm.
I was in training, and I was the subject matter expert of the class. So without getting all super technical and everything, I pretty much just sat there, and if they needed help, they asked me questions. But for the most part,
were you like a form of like an instructor? Or?
Yeah, like so you have the trainer, the co-facilitator, and then if needed, you have a subject matter expert. So
Right.
anything the trainers don't know, they ask the subject matter expert, which was me.
Huh.
I'm that guy, but they didn't have a lot of questions. So I just sat there most of the time.
Oh, shit. So you actually had to go over there and everything?
No. Everything was done from home. Everything we did remotely.
Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, through a Zoom chat and all types of shenanigans. It was cool. Like, I didn't have to take calls. You know, like I said, I just sat there for most of the time just chilling. It was just one of those things where I was still at work.
Yeah, you
So
still had
part
to
of
kind
me's
of be like
there.
mentally there.
Yeah, I had to be there.
Like, I'm here, but I don't want to be here.
Stuck in my chair at my desk, and I was like, zombie mode. So that was that. But I mean, as far as like over the course of like the past 2 weeks, I've been getting back into exercising more. Unfortunately, unlike Lynn, I do not feel comfortable going back to the gym yet. So I've just been sticking to my 3-mile walks at the park and everything. So I've been trying to get back into that flow, that groove. But, you know, since we live in Vegas and it just so happens to be July, it's like 100 some odd degrees.
Dude, I think on Sunday it was 115. And
Yeah.
you could feel it.
Scorching.
You could feel it. Like,
Scorching. So I can't go walking till like damn near 7 p.m.
No, and even still. Like,
You
there's
know
a
what I
nice
mean?
cool breeze. Like, I was working last night on my Friday,
Right.
and it was a nice cool breeze for where I was at if I wanted to go outside, but it's still miserable.
Yes,
it's still
it's still
hot.
hot
There's no
as shit.
escaping the fucking heat.
So, you know, you still feel that because, you know, it's like you don't want to go out too late because it's going to be dark by the time you actually get in any really good exercise. But then if you go out too early, it's burning. So you're just like, okay. So you balance it. So, yeah, that's where a lot of my energy has gone.
No, yeah.
Just because I've been trying to walk and stay active. It's easy to get stuck in the house.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
You get complacent, you get comfortable, and
Right.
it's more or less that comfortability is like, well, it's better than just going outside and melting, but at the same time, I don't want to just be here staring at a wall.
I don't want to veg, you know what I mean? So that's been my past 2 weeks. What have you been up to? Because somebody got a new toy.
Oh, yeah, I finally, after fucking picking and pulling and trying to figure shit out, I finally was able to trade out my car. So I got that, traded out my 2013 Charger.
Yeah.
For a 2019 Ford Mustang.
Yeah.
EcoBoost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite
You
the
went
toy.
from a Challenger
to a Charger to a Mustang.
To a Mustang.
I can specifically say that I guess my likes are muscle cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which,
oh, dude, yeah.
It was crazy is because the Challenger, when I had it, it was such a big car.
Yes,
it was like
it was
a
a
boat.
boat.
It was a
Oh,
goddamn boat. But
beautiful.
There was too much to it.
Yeah.
Like I had no reason.
It was a lot of car.
Yeah, it was way too much car.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
no horsepower
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Well, in the front end would raise up, and I'm like, how do you see over that motherfucker?
It's a boat. It's literally like you're hitting waves. You're crashing
Yes.
into waves. So then, you know, I switched to the Charger. Charger I went from a SXT V6.
Was it an SXT?
Yeah, so it was a stock model down to a V8 Hemi.
Yeah.
And the
yeah,
Charger
yeah.
was not. It was smaller, but it was faster, but it was
Yes.
older.
Yes.
And that one had got up to like almost 80 to 90,000 miles on it. So I was like, all right, you know what? It's getting to the
Trade
point.
up.
It's time to trade up. So I went for the 2019 Mustang. I love it. I like the style of it. I like that, you know, there's a bunch of bells and whistles. There's
Yes.
different modes and mods that
Gotta
you
have
can do
the
with
bells
it.
and whistles.
The only thing that I don't like is that the cabin is a lot smaller.
It's tight.
It's
it
tight.
does look a little tight.
It is a
there.
tighter fit with that in the trunk, but I mean, it's not like I'm bringing a circus of people
No,
around with me.
no,
So
you're good.
yeah,
Like,
it works out for me.
For me, like for y'all, obviously y'all don't know me, but I'm 285 pounds. So me trying to squeeze in that tiny little Charger,
Mustang?
Wow, Mustang. I can't. Oh Lord.
I'll let you try. When we
But
leave,
no,
I'll
I'm
let you
gonna try.
Try and then get a little
I'm
feel for
gonna
it.
try.
It works.
So this is a thing me and Lynn do. Whenever one of us gets a new car, we let the other test drive
just
it.
test drive the
We
car.
just-
I think you'll enjoy it.
Or
It's
if
worth
the
it.
cars are comparable, we will race.
Yes.
now, though, I have a V4 Buick. I am not even going to get close to touching that motherfucker.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, no.
It's neither here or there. But going forward, we're going to be hitting a couple current events today. Nothing too crazy. Well, actually, it actually is more
very fucking crazy.
Yeah, very crazy. Kind of nonsense am I spitting? It's because it's so fucking hot out. Everything seems normal to me. It's like that. It's like that meme where it shows. What it wasn't. I don't know if it was a dog. It's a cartoon dog sitting in a house, and the whole house is burning. It's like, oh, this is fine. I'm fine. We're fine. Or it shows the fish from SpongeBob walking, and he's walking through fire and everything like that, and it's just it's just a normal occasional thing for me. So
well, I mean, kind of. We've been in a world of chaos for the past few months.
It has, and to not make it such a dark and demented topics, a lot of this stuff is fluctuating on more of the negative side than positive.
Yeah,
but it is current stuff and stuff that I feel like people need to be aware of. One thing that I didn't remembered that caught my attention, do you know what happened 2 days ago off of Lake Mead and Rampart?
Oh God, no.
Dude, it was bad. It was this lady that was under the influence. She had her, I believe it was her 3 or 4 year old kid inside of the car, and right there on Lake Mead and Rampart. You remember where the Smiths is right across the street?
Yeah.
You remember when the one time we took the nitro?
The nitro, yeah.
And
we cut the lady
off, and she got out the fucking car to cuss you out in traffic. Yes. Right there.
Oh.
Right there, sad to say, this lady was going way past the speed limit. She was intoxicated from what the reports were saying, and she hit a pole so fucking hard it split the car in half.
The fuck?
And ended up killing her kid. Cut the car in half. You could see the car seat and where the back was. You could see that the whole back side was in one spot of like over near the Terribles, and the other front side was across the street near Smith's.
Oh my God.
So, which is another thing that's crazy to me that I don't agree with, is that her bond is either between $5,000 and $50,000.
Wait, she lived?
She lived, and she's practically almost out of jail because she was able to pay her bond fee for it.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it goes. You go to jail, but if you can pay it's like your bail, or
it's a percentage. It's like
whatever,
a 3 to 5%
right.
of what
they'll
the
let
whole
you out of jail.
So it's $50,000
court date.
for her whole thing, but she only needed to pay $5,000. So it's like, it's just a slap in the face.
I mean, it's just them putting a price on life.
Yeah,
like your kid's life was only worth $50,000,
which is what everybody's saying. It's like you literally you got a fucking bone thrown your way just because it was no big deal to you. Which I'm not saying. I don't know the lady well enough to know that maybe she might be conflicted or there is some remorse coming through this. But my justification,
to me, being remorseful after the fact is fucking retarded.
No, exactly. There's no point to be driving mid fucking day intoxicated with your kid in the back of the car. Absolutely not.
To have remorse after the fact means you weren't thinking about it beforehand, because most of us, when we think about, oh, hey, maybe I might have a drink and then go driving, that voice inside of our head that's not very quiet goes, no, you stupid fuck. You're going to kill somebody.
Some people have that do and don't, that fight or flight kind of thing.
Yeah,
where
the
it's
moral
like,
compass.
The moral compass, yeah.
And it's pointed south because they're not going the right direction at fucking all. Okay.
To hit another moral compass, or a little bit of the idiocracy that people have is one thing that I found out over the weekend was that they had have you been to any parties lately?
Oh God, no.
No, you sure?
No, yes.
No parties?
No party.
No COVID parties.
Oh,
no,
God.
Maybe it might be a hoax. May or may not exist.
No.
Might be a fake.
He said COVID party. Why?
Well, there was a man in Texas. He went to a COVID party. He hosted a COVID party. 30-year-old man hosted a COVID party because he was under the impression that the coronavirus was a hoax. So he went to the party. Someone in the party was tested positive. So they thought, let's get everybody together and let's see if any of us get sick. Didn't take any fucking time whatsoever to show that somebody was getting sick. So what they ended up doing is, he figured out that he got sick, got the coronavirus, decided to go to the hospital to check and see what was going on. Mm-hmm. Found out that it was such a severe case because there were so many people in such a confined room that fucking had it, that from what the report was saying is that he ended up dying in the hospital. Jokingly saying when he rolled over on his hospital bed to the nurse, I didn't think this would be the way that I was going to die. And then he died.
It's like that one basketball player that got COVID. He was like touching all the microphones and like laughing and stuff. And then all of a sudden he catch. I was like, well, karma's a bitch.
It's instant karma. It's instant karma. It's such a stupid thing. No, I'm sorry. He said, I think I made a mistake. I thought this was a hoax, but it's not. And then he died right afterwards.
That
as if it was
like
some kind of cinematic report. Yeah, exactly. And then the screen goes dark.
And then the credits
and then the credits roll, and you'd like to thank all the people that were on this. It was such a slap in the face. It just shows.
See him come behind the curtain. Now, while this wasn't real, we just wanted to highlight the benefits and the horrible severity of coronavirus.
It's a learning experience. Like,
you're fucking dead.
This isn't PBX. Like, I didn't learn anything from this. Why would you?
Why would you have a COVID party?
I don't know, because people are bored and they have nothing else better to do. It comes to fluctuate with, God forbid we go into another shutdown because California just did it 2 days ago. They're back to negative square one.
That is not surprising, and I'm sorry, folks. Literally nobody should be surprised that we're closing down again. No. Coronavirus didn't go away before we went to phase 1. We were, pre-phase 4?
2? No. We barely made it to 2. There's 4 phases. I don't even know what the other fucking 3 are because we never made it past 2.
Yeah, they never really gave us good detail on it. They were just like, more shit's going to open.
Yeah, we dropped back to 1.
I thought we were like at least phase 3 going into phase 4, but no, they're like, oh yeah, we're going to rewind it all the way back to phase 1. I'm like, so...
No.
You guys didn't see this coming, and apparently Fauci. I forget his official title. Please forgive me. Fauci, he's like the medical spokesperson to Donald Trump. You see him on TV. He has like a little bit of an accent. He usually wears glasses.
Oh, the doctor. Yeah. I saw the how they're doing shit like behind his back. They're not taking into consideration.
He hasn't been talking as much. They haven't let him on the air because it goes against Trump's narrative that America has the COVID-19 virus under control. And this, and that, and this, and that. And Fauci's like, we don't.
No.
But to silence him because it's not going along with Trump's narrative, they just decided to stop giving him airtime.
Yeah, so now
Donald Trump just shits on him.
And you can see it in the background that when he's having his, when Trump's having his speeches, you just see him back there just kind of like, his
what
eyes,
is this fucking idiot saying?
Yeah, because he can't say anything. There's nothing because they give him no credit to it.
Every time he says something, even especially if it's dumb as fuck, they have to be like, oh, he was just kidding. He was just joking.
No, they
didn't mean to
tell people. They end up having
to
justify and everything like that.
He didn't mean to tell people to inject themselves with hand sanitizer into their veins and shit. Next current event. Let's keep this train a-rolling.
All right. Next one going up is, more or less on the darker side, that we had 2 losses over the week.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Naya Rivera, she did pass, from Glee. I don't know if a lot of people know what Glee is. It's more of a older generation. Drake started from it.
Kind of, yeah.
To an extent. I know that I don't know if they're still running it or not. Yeah. But I know, that's where Drake started.
I just remember her in Glee because I remember the episode where I guess she was trying to come out as a lesbian. Yeah. But her friend didn't get it, so she thought she was Lebanese.
Yeah.
So she was like, I love all Lebanese people or something. So that's what I remember. I was like, oh, this is weird.
Yeah, so, a lot of people have been touched by the show that she's had, and a lot of the stuff what I was seeing is that she was a very positive person to the public. Is that she was there to help individuals, to make them laugh and smile, and also be productively profound with people that needed assistance. And it sucks that we did lose a good heavy hitter today just because, or I guess more or less 4 or 5 days ago, when they did finally find her body, she
it was a weird, I gotta be honest, it's a weird situation.
It is. When I first heard about it, I was kind of confused because I was hearing that her boat was adrift with her kid on there, and there were boats patrolling within the area.
Yeah.
But the boat wasn't anchored down. It was just kind of like fucking floating out.
It was just floating out there. Well,
it was out in Lake Peru.
Something
Piru.
I've never heard of it personally, but it was like they found the kid who was wearing his life jacket, and then there was another life jacket on the boat, but she was nowhere to be found. And then update to the story, it sounded like it now coming across as she saved her son's life.
She had mustered up enough energy to get her kid on the boat, and when
what was happening?
I don't know. When sheriff supposedly talked to the kid,
that was the story he gave.
Yeah, that when his mom got him back up on the boat, he turned back around and saw that.
But there's no sign of struggle.
No.
From what I heard, there's no sign of foul play. So it's just like what and obviously it's a tragic situation. So let's not take away from that. But it's just the circumstances were just weird, and maybe it was the way they relayed the information. Or my issue with the news lately is they will jump on like the most recent current story,
right?
And they will throw out every piece of information they have, and then later on they'll backtrack and be like, oh well, we didn't know this at the time.
I hate that, man. That's such a big pet peeve.
Like, dude, what the fuck?
If you're gonna put out information, make sure you have all the facts ready to go. Don't spitfire stuff to me.
Especially when you have the entire nation looking at you for information. Yeah. Like, we go to you to give us relevant information, and so it's like that was my biggest issue, because you're getting information from all these different outlets, and everybody's got a similar but different story, and no one knows the full story. And it's just like, can we not speculate so much? Can we just report the facts
It's
and
always,
just, let the girl be.
Always going to be like that, My condolences to the family and friends that'll be going around, kind of trying to piece everything together. I know there was a lot of tweets going towards a lot of the co-stars saying, why aren't you making this public? And the co-stars are pretty much saying, like, hey, it's not our place.
Right.
We were trying to find her.
Right.
And we were trying to do good for her. We don't owe
people
you
are
guys
expecting another performance.
They want a performance. They want an audio
why?
performance. To put something else on the side too, which I used to watch this show very frequently. I didn't want it to get overlapped. We had Grant
Imahara
from
fucking Mythbusters.
From Mythbusters. I remember as a kid used to love watching that show just because it was so crazy, the stuff that they would do, because it was practically them busting.
Well, and Grant was like and I'm sorry for the other two, but Grant was like the brains.
He was the brains.
And the other two like to have like fun.
Yeah, Grant was a hybrid engineer. Yeah, it was a hybrid engineer. He had a lot of ability to bring to the table.
He had a lot. Yeah, he had a lot of intellect.
Yeah, and
like if they couldn't think of something, here comes Grant.
And it's crazy to say is that Naya's death is a big impact on people.
Of
but
course,
Grant's death got overlapped for hers. I barely heard it for like maybe a day, and then now he's history. It's like the equivalent of Billy Mays died the same day Michael Jackson died.
Yeah,
nobody knew.
Billy Mays.
Yeah, Michael Jackson's thing was for months, and Billy Mays, he died on a plane,
and that
was just like people fucking forgot about it. Yeah, it sucks. So it's like my coming from this, just to put a quick cap on it, is that make sure you pay attention to everything in details. Don't just focus on one topic at a time.
Yeah.
Broaden your horizon when it comes to things that are happening, whether it be a current event or something that's in your life. If something is so significant in one perspective, doesn't mean that you need to take away the value of something so minor somewhere else. Because then you might be missing out on a big thing, a big or small opportunity. So,
well, and that just goes for life in general. You know what I mean? Like, don't let one thing overshadow everything else. Sometimes they have significance and connect to each other, or sometimes it's just one of those things where it's just more information, more knowledge for you to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I agree.
Try not to deify people. I know these people are very popular and they are at like a celebrity status, but they are still human. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So let's not pump them up to God's lowercase g status so much, but let's bring them down to our level and have some compassion for them and their fellow actors, co-host, whatever. Just have a heart, like we said before. All right, let's hit our last stop on the train of despair.
Okay, so we have one more topic that I will hit, and then we're gonna kind of pull away from some of the current events that were going on. But the one thing that I've been hearing, the reason why I wanted to hit an episode today, is Wayfair. Wayfair, from what I was hearing, everybody's been going into filing petitions because it's like this conspiracy theory that they've been using Wayfaring for children trafficking. Human trafficking, if you will, which I feel like is, I don't know how to explain it. It's not big on my behalf, but from my job, I do come across a lot of human trafficking just because I work with.
You see it.
I work with I come across a lot of working girls.
I dealt with that,
buyers and hookers and whatnot.
When I was working security.
And it's crazy is when we do arrest somebody and take them into our CSO or casino security office.
Wow.
When we do take them in there, there's one sign in it. It's in a white room. There's a bench there, and in that room on the wall, there's a thing with a girl covering her face saying, "If you are being trafficked and if you seek help, here's a number."
Right.
And to me, it's such a big thing because a lot of these people, they get so involved into that form of trafficking. I don't know why it hits so hard, but it's like you're taking away somebody's livelihood that never had a chance to become their own individual based off it because you want to use them for a profit or pleasure.
Yes.
And from what Wayfair's been doing through Amazon and through a bunch of other companies is that they're selling furniture items at a ridiculous top dollar. Like I was talking to you recently, like the equivalent of buying a headset.
Yeah.
I see a nice headset thinking it's $30-$50. Wayfair's pushing it for like $5,000.
Right.
Like, all right, did Michael Jackson wear these headsets? Right. Are they painted in gold?
Like I remember hearing somebody say like you'll get a pillow and you'll like put your name on the pillow. It'll be like a $30 pillow, but then you type in what you want on the pillow and the color, and it's like $6,000, $8,000.
It skyrockets up. And then what's happening with a lot of these comments are that the reason why it became such a thing for people to wonder why it went into child trafficking is because the name of the pillow tends to be the last name of the child that's missing. And all the names are linking up with cold cases. So for it to go into this weird, I don't know, it's just this like Taken, like the movie Taken. It's this cluster of like an online millionaire,
here's the
like
thing.
Hidden franchise thing.
So I was watching one of my YouTube subscriptions, Face Like the Sun, Gons. He has a podcast similar to ours called Canary Cry Radio. And they brought up a weird, interesting fact. It hasn't been, we don't know if it's legitimate, but this is just the definitions they found when you break up the word waif and fair.
Okay.
So it's WAIF, waif.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, the meaning to that, or the supposed meaning, was to take or sell or like kidnap a child, specifically like a homeless child or somebody, a child without parents.
No, I didn't know that.
And then you have fair, and I'm going off of memory. Fair was like how much it would cost, to sell a particular child or to sell, someone. You know what I mean? So like you pay a fare on a boat or something like that, but
okay.
it has
it's
a
selective.
dual meaning.
Yeah, it's a selective wording.
So that's
like that.
when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, that's too coincidental. But I mean, unfortunately, like Lynn said, when you connect the dots, as long as you're connecting the right dots,
if you're connecting the right dots, now
man.
now that the dirt's starting to get dug up,
But
I feel like
my issue is just like Harvey Weinstein and what was the other guy, Jeffrey Epstein, Jeff Epstein or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All of these rich people, okay, and it's not just Wayfair, guys. Do your research. Multiple actors, actresses, politicians, people of high value and wealth have been caught up in child trafficking.
Which is reason why I'm still researching more or less on it, is that Amazon got tied into it too. The public decided to put a request to the federal government asking if they could. It was a form of a petition to see if they can investigate and look into the forms of human trafficking and prices sold of items on Wayfair and Amazon, because Amazon is using Wayfair as a third-party company.
Yes.
So it's the concept of, does Amazon also get punished? If okay, so let's say, figuratively speaking, me and you go do a crime, right? I don't know we're doing a crime.
Right.
You're in the car with me, we're driving somewhere, and we're like, oh, I'm taking you to go get food, and then all of a sudden I decide I'm gonna go rob the place where we're getting food from, and you're looking at me like, why are we robbing the place?
Right.
I was just here to get food.
But it's one of those things that at the point that you find out the robbery has happened,
exactly.
That's when you now, if you do nothing about it, yes, you become an accomplice.
You become an accomplice, exactly. It becomes a form of second degree.
Yes.
So my thing is, if Amazon is aware of it now, if they didn't know anything about it before, sure, slap on the wrist, kick them out. They have their $1 billion company; they can get anywhere. But if they did know or do know, they should be held accountable.
You had to know. Here's my thing. So, like I've said before, I work for a shipping and logistics company.
Right.
From how I understand how we ship our packages, you're not moving no motherfucking human in a package. What was it? One of the things I had heard, they were like trying to ship kids in armoires, like dressers and shit.
Dressers and cabinets and stuff like that.
These packages are weighed. They are scanned, like damn near x-ray vision, because they're trying to make sure they're not accidentally shipping narcotics.
Yeah.
They got to make sure they're not accidentally shipping millions of dollars of illegal drug money type shit. So you can't tell me, oh, well, we didn't know. No, you had to. Somebody somewhere knew, because this shit is happening on such a wide scale. These people are getting caught up on such a wide scale that you have to question everything else. It's like, okay, well, if this person did it, well, 6 degrees of separation. How did nobody else know? No, people knew.
People knew.
They just decided not to fucking say anything.
Exactly.
Just like this was a really long time. So do you remember that story of the 3 Hispanic girls that the dude kidnapped and locked in his basement? It was something in I could have the number wrong, but he had them locked in his basement for like ever.
Right.
Got one of them pregnant. She had his baby and everything.
What?
Once they caught the dude and they freed the girls, the neighbor across the street, they were like, "Did you ever like see any signs of it?" He was like, "No." He's like, I've been in the house. I had barbecue with the guy. Like, our kids play together. Yeah. It's like, dude, you have to pay attention to shit that's going on around you.
A lot of people are very, what's the word I'm looking for? And I don't know if it's a trait that you pick up from doing security or just from living life.
Yeah. People are oblivious.
People are oblivious. And I think it's feel like it's a sense of awareness.
Yes.
It's such a big thing for me, because I'm always consistently aware.
Always.
All the time.
Always.
And sometimes it's exhausting to where points like, fuck, I can't go enjoy something without me thinking my head's on a pedestal or my head's on a swivel.
Based off of the shit that's happened, you really can't blame yourself.
No, you can't, and it's just kind of how we need to live, or we need to be
Lynn
aware.
was there when we had the Las Vegas shooting. Well, he was supposed to have been working that night. Remember the shooting that happened on the Strip a while back? That major shooting where the perp was actually in, I think, your building.
Oh, yeah.
Type shit.
Yeah, that definitely changed.
You know what I mean?
That definitely
so, of course, that always puts you on edge, because then after that, you're like, well, shit, I feel like I can never drop my guard.
No, I've learned from dealing with that, and from going forward still being at the same fucking place, is that you have to be accustomed to change.
Yeah.
And when something heavy like that hits, which was like obviously the heaviest thing that we've had in this town, beside COVID in a very, very long time, it being so close to home and having to physically be there pre-post everything being across it, seeing, you know, all the bodies and stuff at the lot,
Right.
you know, that changes anybody. It's to the extent you go from just a basic observer report to it's kind of like a military standpoint.
Yes.
Where
You have to be involved.
I have to be involved because
Yeah.
it's my job, and I know it's the first thing that everything's coming across.
Yes.
I can't just go fucking take off and run at home because I have to come back to work.
Right.
So it definitely took a big hit to mentally get to the point where it's like, okay, maybe had I been aware more
Nah.
of what was happening, of who the individual was,
Yeah.
even though this dude was very, very smart,
Right.
was very smart from getting everything that he needed to get to where he was doing.
That's
and
the point.
there's so many gray areas that didn't get pushed out, which, you know, maybe down the road, if I do a spin-off
course.
episode, I will kind of touch more based on
Once
it.
we've moved to a new chapter.
Yes,
in life.
yeah, new chapter, if you will. But all right, going forward, last stop, going with what that St. Louis thing where the couple that
Yeah.
there's been a bunch of like funnily joking memes about
Yes.
it, of the
Terribly.
male holding an AR and the wife holding a pistol. I saw the Hodgkin twins on Facebook or on YouTube do a little spin-off cut and jokingly showing that they ended up having people file the petition against them to have SWAT raid their house.
Yeah.
So it was like an Al Pacino Scarface kind of thing.
Yeah.
They blew the fucking
They
door off the hinges.
swatted them. I
They
think
got,
it's called swatting.
Yeah.
Yeah. When somebody anonymous alerts the police so
Yes.
that they send SWAT to your house.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
so
swatted
it was sent
them.
by an anonymous thing, and SWAT came, raided their house, blew their fucking door off the hinges, and took all their guns away. And this couple had so many different forms of fucking firearms.
I'm sure.
It does link back to, you know, the whole 1 October thing. It's just some individuals, I mean, more or less, I understand the concept of carrying a firearm. I understand it, you know, firearm safety, because
For
I do have to carry
self-defense.
for self-defense. Yes,
Yeah.
it's a safety. It's a self-defense hazard. To come in with the amount of rifles and ammunition and modifications that you do on a lot of these firearms,
Yes.
this guy wasn't military trained. He
No.
wasn't ex-military. He was
was
law
out to
enforcement.
kill.
You
That was
have
not-
all of that stuff just
Yeah.
to set up with no background.
That
If
was no home defense.
no, if you're no, don't get me wrong. Like, if I do support when it comes to military and law enforcement, if you do have a background like that, then yes,
Yeah.
you are qualified and allowed
But that
to
means
have
you can physically go out and buy those weapons.
But if
Right.
you're ordering this shit online with no background and you have no purpose other than to go shoot at a fucking
Yeah.
range, you have no business trying to carry that much of an arsenal. This
I
dude
agree.
had a wall safe full of broken apart ARs,
The
AKs,
fuck?
SIGs, Glocks, 1911s, everything. It
Must
went
look
all
like
the way through.
Borderlands
So
up in
yeah,
that
it
bitch.
literally looked like a Borderlands. Like when you go to raid a fucking
Like
vault.
weapons cache?
Yeah, weapons cache. So when you see the wife come out with this little fucking pea shooter, and then the husband comes out with the AR, and in my head I'm like, dude, they had a fuck ton more
They had a
stuff.
fortress, a
if
small
these
fortress
people
of
would have came in,
firepower.
but you saw that what the house looked like. It was
Yeah.
huge. It was a goddamn mansion. You had to go through a gate to walk up a big ass fucking ramp to go to the front door, and they were greeted by those two the minute they came through. I understand the
What?
concept of self-defense, but having that much of an arsenal when you're just a family of 2 or 3, no fucking way.
Definitely, I agree. All right, so with that, guys, keep your head in the clouds.
And keep your feet on the ground.
Listen out for part 2 coming soon. We will see you guys next time. You did great.
You did good.
Just good.
Okay, you did great.